All right, it's a Monday, in the middle of November, and we have brick on one side. The other side, plumbers are working inside. We'll take a look at the plumbing in a separate video, but rough plumbing is happening, rough electrical is about to happen, and they're starting to work on exterior siding and insulation. We got the insulation over here. We did end up with the rock wool, thankfully. Didn't have to go with the EPS, the foam on the outside, because bugs really like it. So they like to nest in it. I was uncomfortable with it, and we were really fortunate to find this stuff. It's hard to come by right now, so the rock wool will be everywhere on the exterior. It's already behind the brick, as you can see. The lighting is not helping me right now. The sun decided to come out. But you can see the brick. I think it turned out nice. The grout is still wet. It's gonna get whiter over time. So this is the rock wool insulation. They have all these clips that there's a tie that goes in here so that they can get into the brick, and they tied it all the way along. Really like the way that this turned out, very authentic. We also, I don't know if you can tell, but we stayed true to the running kind of soldier course here. This is, the original had courses like that at the floors and at the sills. You can see one right there. There's one about halfway up the windows, and there is one right there. And at the sill, the headers. There's one across the header. So we took the time to kind of map that all out. I think it turned out pretty nice. This side didn't have angle irons. The other side looks like had been redone. But this one just never had the angle iron. They were just relying on the wood that it was resting on. So it's all done correctly and up to code. Kind of the trim is gonna box it out. It's gonna be just like the original. The windows should be here in a couple of weeks, maybe a week. If we're really lucky, they'll be in by the end of next week. But yeah, we got a good amount of flashing here so that the snow won't creep up and under it. It's all weatherproofed. They let that be pretty high. I don't know exactly how, if there's one more step flashing to go under that and over the bulkhead, but we'll figure that out. The other thing we did was we brought these back. They're reinstalled where they originally were. Actually, they might be like a couple of courses higher than they were originally. But I just wanted it to kind of land in the middle, and so kind of made it all symmetrical. That worked out pretty good. There's a little more white. There's clearly more kind of painted bricks than there were originally. Over time, that'll kind of, I think, fade out. As they get weathered, they'll just darken. The rest of the bricks are very similar, that kind of orangey red, and a few of the darker ones, that's more along the lines of what it was originally. But this was as close a reproduction brick that we could possibly find. I think it turned out pretty good. Now, way up top here, you notice that our overhang looks a lot smaller all of a sudden, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but every now and then there's a little piece of wood in the brick course right along the edge there. That's a nailer, or those are nailers, all the way up to the top, where they will be doing this similar rake board detail with a kind of like a flat trim board, or a couple of those, and then a crown going right out to that drip edge. So it'll be hanging over just a little bit, actually just a little bit more than it used to, and we're okay with that. We're trying to stay as true as we can, and that's probably as true as we can stay and have it perform really well. So now the other side they were not able to do. It's getting down below freezing pretty much on a regular basis. They did not want a tent because that would be super expensive. I didn't want it to be expensive or any more expensive than it already is. And so they're going to work on the brick on the inside and bringing it up from the basement and the CMU wall. But this end is going to remain exposed kind of as is for the winter. The windows will be going in, of course, so they'll get set. And it's air and waterproof already. That insulation can't really be hung because they have to pick where they hang the ties for the bricks are the same as the hangers for the insulation. So they do double duty, and they need to know where on the course they want to be hanging in order to put those in. So that insulation really needs to be installed by the masons when in the spring when the temperatures are good again for them. What else? I think that's about it. So that insulation is going on. There is some strapping and everything that's going to go on top of them, and then siding. We'll have to decide on what kind of clapboard we're going to use. Right now, the price of cedar clapboards are like 10 times as expensive as they used to be. Literally 10 times the price. So we're exploring alternatives, although I didn't want to. The budget's already out of control and we need to reel it in here. So we might do like a hardy board or a cement board or something like that has a wood grain. It's all getting painted anyway, so probably will not be a huge deterrent. You probably won't even really notice. So we're looking at alternatives for the clapboards on the front and the back, and we're looking for alternatives for the vertical siding that we thought we had going on for the family room here, and the dormer on the back is actually not warranted for exterior use, so we're not using that. We're gonna try to find something better in our budget. So that's the update there, but they'll get going on the insulation of the exterior. So most of the house will be at least have some insulation in, probably around the same time as the windows all go in, and then it'll be nice to work in there. It'll be quieter, it'll be warmer, it'll hopefully keep the snow out. So yeah, that's where we're at on the outside. Stay tuned for another video forthcoming on plumbing rough-in, which is happening today as well. Take care.